Craziness has descended upon us, folks. Evening, Ant Woodward on the chat. Hello. You have joined us for the craziness that is the Wobbly is a Melt 200. That's right, Wobbly is a melt. And we're doing 200 kilometres of Charlotte. It's an oval of sorts. It's got some strange little kinks before the start and after the start-finish line. We are going to be doing trucks. And there's 3 of them, and they're all exactly the same, but they look a bit different. And it's going to be carnage. And it should be a good laugh, if nothing else. And it'll be an absolute hoot, because guess who is racing? Clyde Whiting is racing. And it's going to be hilarious, because we've already done a vote on there about the when's the first caution going to be? Is it going to be within the first 10 laps? And I think that yes is already the highest vote. I'm Pete Bingham, and in the booth with me for this BSTV Media Day broadcast of this new series is Stacey Jeffries. Good evening.
Good evening, Pete, and welcome to everybody that's watching tonight.
Some stuff, and doing all the technical stuff in this series. We probably couldn't do any of the series without him. Is Sam Boozen. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
The session's currently in qualifying, and we've not really got that long. Most people have already done their times, even though the session is set for 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do in a moment is drag Clyde in. His team name for the evening is reasonably unique. Has anybody spotted his team name? His team name is Randy Lovespuds. And he's driving for BSTV Esports Kingpin. I've never heard of anything so ridiculous in my life. I actually hope he crashes in the first 10 laps, so we don't have to say that multiple times throughout the broadcast. These are monsters, these trucks. I'll talk about them. I'll do it now, actually. So these things are just crazy. 5.8 litre V8 4-speed manual monsters. 700 horsepower at their top end. Unrestricted at 520 kilowatts, which is standard NASCAR. Tyler's probably going to end up correcting me at some point. They hold something like 68 litres, I think I remember someone saying once, but these guys are under 75%. Are these guys going to grid now, Sam?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. We're still on qualifying session.
Oh, that's all right then. It's just everything paused for me for a minute with Michael Barry just stationary on the start-finish line. He must have finished his qualifying and just parked it. So we've got Toyota Tundras. We've got, what's the Chevrolet called? I can't even remember. Impala. Yeah, Impala.
It's the Silverado, no?
Oh, is it the Silverado? Yes, it is. The Impala's the old one, isn't it? And the Ford F-150, which sounds like a fighter jet, doesn't it? But it's not. I've not actually seen it on track. I own it. I don't know why I bought it, because I've never raced it. But I just collect these things, a bit like Jamie does. Jamie Wilson, he's got the full content. Stacey, do you know anything about NASCAR or NASCAR trucks?
Absolutely nothing, and that's why I'm here, because it looks good fun.
It's going to be carnage, and the thing to remember is they only ever turn left. We're on board with Wobbly. This is turn... Hang on a minute. It was turn 2, but he's mashed into the wall. We're going to get a slow-mo of that at some point, a few times. This is Adam going to try and do it correctly. I think he's going out at turn 3 and 4 now.
Now he's in 1-2.
Oh, now he's spinning and he's just done himself and mischief. So that lap won't match. We've got a few names in here that I'll go through which are new to us in BSTV, or I think they are. I'll get corrected pretty quick if they've raced with us before. Duncan Cope, good evening to him and welcome. And Michael Barry, good evening to you and welcome. Hopefully this media day will attract others to this series. Other things to note about this car, it's a pushrod V8, so it's not standard. That means that all the power is transferred straight to the wheels, and it's an obscene amount of power. Wobbly's got lots of scrapes down the right-hand side of his car because of what we saw earlier. The torque of these cars is something horrific, like 700 Newton meters or something of torque. They do have power steering, but I don't think they've got any kind of brake assist, have they, Sam? I think this is just old-fashioned calipers, isn't it? Yeah, these things are just horrendously
Well,
powerful.
they don't need to brake anyway. So.
True, they don't need to brake. They probably will. But there you go. Not sure where Wobbly's going there. He's taking a unique line through there. What I'm going to do, Stacey, I'm going to move. Where am I? I've lost myself now. There we go. Found it.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking to get Mr. Love Spuds in the booth. Good evening, Clyde.
Howdy.
You alright?
Yeah, not too bad.
What have you done so far? Have you abused the timing or something? Where are you? You are third. How did you manage that then? Cheating?
No, not too bad at ovals, but I've got some good one-lap pace, but after lap 1, I think I'll be heading backwards.
So, which one are you driving? Are you in the Tundra? The same one we used to drive, yeah?
I am, yes. It's the only one I own, so I didn't have much choice.
And tactics. I say that tongue-in-cheek and almost laughing. What are you going to do for the 2 laps that you're going to be racing?
Well, the team tactics in the chat at the moment is getting rid of Wobbly.
Oh, right, that's good. Yeah, I support that tactic.
So yeah, I don't know. You don't know how these things are going to go, do you? You don't know if you're going to get long green runs, whether it's just going to be a caution fest. You know, people are saying, "Oh, I haven't practiced green flag pit stops," and other people are saying, "You really think we're going to get some?" And I don't know. It's just a bit of fun, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Adam thinks he's already won it because he's doing burnouts on the start-finish line on the stream. So
yeah.
he's preordained as a winner there. Wobbly has the fastest time. Your tactic about taking him out is failing right from the start.
Yeah, but you can't take him out in quali because it's
single car, isn't it? Oh man, you're gonna have to change that so he can't do it again.
I've said to Wobbly and Tyler, look, you two fight, take each other out, and I'll win.
That's a good tactic. I like
it.
It
Is a good tactic. Yeah. Have you got any questions for Randy, Stacey? You must have something.
Really? I'm going to be nice. I'm not like you two.
Yeah, you've not figured it out yet, have you? Anyway. Good evening to David Ayres on the chat. You should be racing in this.
The track is slick in 1 and 2. And then it seems everybody is struggling with tightness in 3 and 4. So I'm expecting a few people in the wall off of turn 4, to be honest.
Yeah, I think lap 1's going to be a bit tasty, isn't it? Providing you're not already under caution at that point.
Well, there is that, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a vote going.
Poll. Yeah.
And so far, 100% of people think that we are doing the first caution with 10 laps. So that doesn't bode well for anybody.
Well, if it is, just tell everyone it's a competition caution.
Yeah. Quality. Right, get lost then.
All right, you'll have
Good
to
luck,
put me
Clyde.
back. Cheers.
How do I do that then? Do I do it like that? Oh, I did it, I think. Hey, check me out with the digital skills. Right, so we've got 4 minutes left. What else do we need to know? So Charlotte's got a fairly standard turn 1 and 2. Can we go on board with Simon? He's obviously doing laps just for fun at the minute. So we're about to go over the start-finish straight. This is the kink just before the start-finish, and then you get another one just here. And then you're into turn 1, which is this. This one, you can take a lot of speed in here, but you need to scrub it off mid-corner in order to do 2, which is the one we've just been through. Blink and you miss it. This is the back stretch. And this is what Clyde was talking about a minute ago. Turn 3, you're approaching it faster than you approach turn 2, and therefore it washes up the track somewhat. Good control there, 265 Ks we'll call it, from Simon before he levels it off and gets up to 280 across the stripe. Very smooth racing, however, smooth doesn't necessarily get you the fastest time. So Simon at the moment is second off last. He's not normally an oval racer that I'm aware of, and I think it'll be a hoot for him to do this, just like it is for most of the others. And hopefully we can attract more people to this series, because get enough people in these trucks on one track and it becomes an absolute barnstormer. I used to race these with Clyde in oval races, and it was hilarious. Never done anything quite so funny in my life.
Is that 'cause you get crashing?
Everybody crashes in trucks. It's unavoidable. I think the highest iRating we ever saw in a race was something like 1600 or something. I think it might have been Clyde at 2000 or something like that. It was funny either way. Good to see Wobbly's iRating showing on SDK where it really should be in real life in the road. 1000. That's right, folks. One. Oh yes, it's going to be a great night. Oh dear.
So David Ayres in the chat said it's roundabout racing.
It is, yeah, giant roundabout. And Mick Barry drives for results. So Michael Barry, welcome. Bring some of your friends with you next time, will you? Including David, and it should be a good laugh. So we've got 134 laps here, providing there's any cars left to do all 134, that is. The tyres on these cars go off very quick. Have you ever watched NASCAR, Stacey?
Never.
Never? Oh, wow. Do you know the names, though? Kyle Busch, etc.?
I don't know.
No? Okay. Well, education's coming your way. So Kyle basically races every series, as some of the other drivers do as well. And I think he's won the World Championship in these, as well as Xfinity and Monsters. That's right, isn't it, Sam? Those are the only 3 NASCARs you're getting it.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, the 3 major ones, I think.
Yeah.
That is, yes. You've got the ARCA ones and but I think these 3 are the main ones.
Something you will see as a feature, in inverted commas, of all oval racing is people who balls up the entry into pit road. Because you've got to scrub something like 200 kilometers an hour off your speed in about 100 yards. It's a talent, it has to be said. As Wobbly practices the only sort of roundabouts he's doing tonight, which is donuts. Clyde's sandbagging, according to Mike on the chat. Why aren't you racing this, Mike? You used to race ovals, didn't you? I'm sure you used to race ovals with me. Oh, grid's up. Off pole is Wobbly for BSTV Esports Pink. Tyler goes off second in BSTV Esports Green. Idiot goes off. Ooh, where's it gone? Idiot goes off third for BSTV Esports Kingpin. Mark Draper goes off fourth. Chris Shaw for BSTV Esports Pink goes off fifth. Duncan Cope goes off sixth with Nikolai Bogatarov off seventh. I've got plenty of time because they do this strange lineup thing at Charlotte, which always confuses everybody in officials and everybody ends up out of seat. It's very funny. Eighth is Stefan Goebel, VTS Esports. He's a BSTV broadcast regular, along with his teammate, who's next to him on the grid in ninth, Marco Lua, also for VTS Esports. Adam Wright goes off 10th for BSTV Esports Green. Simon Trendle goes off 11th for Team Chimera. And bringing up the rear of the field at the moment, but sometimes the rear of the field in ovals is the safest place to be, is Mick Barry, who is a Result clothing driver. So let's hope he's got a livery for next time that says that. So we're not far from the start of the Wobbly is a Melt 200. What was the question I was going to ask you before? I was going to ask you if you ever seen that. But they all lead away here. Nice wheel spin there from Clyde. Clearly he doesn't like those tyres. So I don't know whether... Are we 1 to green already, Sam? Or is it 2 to green in Charlotte?
I do think it's 1 to green.
Okay, yeah. We've got a curb cam here, which Sam has spent loving hours making. And Simon's just driven straight over it, so that was good. Tyler,
Wobbly,
oh no,
on.
Wobbly's trying to hide inside the pace car.
Oh, I'm loving what Ant's just said.
Left turn, Clyde. And he's about the same intellect as an orangutan as well, so with the same personal hygiene standards.
You're so kind.
I know. We've got loads of people watching the stream, which is good. For these media days, sometimes it can be a bit quiet. Oh, we're 1 to green here. We're going under lights now. So Wobbly should be backing him up as the pace car disappears. And then at some point, he should go. Right, they've checked up on the inside line there a little bit behind. But we are away, and we're away reasonably safely. Let's see how accurate our pole was. Cautions are automatic. That's a good wall cam, Sam.
See how close they get.
Well, that's part of the game, actually. Ooh, somebody just made contact with the wall. I wasn't really sure who that was. It was an all-black car. Might have been as far back as Nikolai. Clyde's just lost a position to Mark Draper, who I don't think is normally a oval racer.
Looks like he's pulling away already.
Yeah, Tyler's done a lot of oval racing over the years. Obviously, he loves IndyCar, and they do their oval contributions each series and each year. That's a very high line from Nikolai. Oh, Nikolai's in a white car, a white truck, not a black truck.
So you were talking about livery earlier. I was going to say Barry's car looks absolutely brilliant.
Let's go back. Let's go and see Michael's livery, shall we? He's got hey.
I was going to say, compared to everybody else, I think he's got the most fun.
Yeah, definitely. Nikolai likes that high line, doesn't he? He's managed to get himself around Duncan Cope by doing that. But then Duncan's fighting him back. He's not letting that go. High lines are as beneficial in low lines because you don't scrub the tyres as much on the high line and you carry more around the outside. Yes, it's a longer journey and you'll use more fuel as a result. But it has its place. Most tracks have 3, if not more than 3 lines through them. You can actually see on the back straight there, 3 lines have been marked out by the course that we're on.
Pete, so if these guys have an accident, is there any fast repair, or once you're out, you are out?
Well, this series, like all BSTV ones, has 1 fast repair, just the one. I think Clyde's going to probably need about 50, but we'll see. He's doing all right at the minute. He's now being caught very quickly by Marco Loert, who's got a brilliant camo paint scheme, so nobody will be able to see him creeping up behind them.
Stealth mode.
And we've got a good split of the different manufacturers, actually. We've got 6 Toyotas, that's the dominant one. 3 Chevys and 3 Fords as well. Oh, there's a bit of bump drafting going on here. That was Chris Shaw giving a shove to Marco, and that has worked. Bump drafting is quite a skill. I've never been able to be good at it, either being in front or being the pusher. But it looks like Tyler and Wobbly have started to check out here. Even Mark Draper's got a gap on everybody at the moment as well. And we're going to be 3 wide down the back straight behind Clyde in a second.
2 more laps to crash.
2 more laps to crash, okay. that was very, very close. From Duncan on the back of Chris Shaw. So we are 2 by 2, 3 cars wide. We nearly got caution then. That was Duncan Cope right into the back of Chris Shaw. And when you nudge somebody in that way, you lift the back tyres off the ground or shift them across the tarmac and they lose speed. Clyde's absolutely lost his momentum and his traction. He's gone, and they're going to spit him out the back of this in a minute if he doesn't get back. So, I mean, these cars are not slouching around. At the minute, they're doing 282 kilometres an hour. I don't know what that is in miles an hour, probably about 180-ish or 170, something like that. What's your first thoughts on this, Stacey?
I think it's absolutely brilliant. They're actually a lot closer than I thought they would be. But to be fair, I thought we'd have a bit of carnage, but we haven't seen any yet. So I don't like to say about people crashing, but I was hoping for, a few bumps here and there.
Yeah, the poll is about to be proven wrong because we are now on lap.
Well, the poll, all of the people that voted were wrong.
Yeah.
Shame on you people. You don't believe in BSTV boys.
I'm
disappointed, by the way. Clyde should have been in the wall already. Or
Yeah.
Wobbly, one of these two, but yeah.
See, I don't know how long the tyres will last. You can easily over push these trucks and scrub your tyres, overheat them, melt them, everything. So we'll have to see if anybody gets caught out. The cars will start to over rotate once that happens, and or wash out into the wall. You'll see the washing out bit out of turn 2 and out of turn 4, and you'll see the over rotation into turn 1 and into turn 3 generally. When you get too close underneath someone, it lifts all the when you get too close behind someone, it lifts the downforce off the front of your vehicle. It makes the front really light, which is why you see people stepping out of the toe as they approach turns 1 and turn 3, so that they can keep the downforce. 3 wide here into turn 3, and that is Duncan Cope that's been shoved out to the wall there. Look next. This is right at the front because Wobbly has caught Tyler. He's been doing faster laps for a little while. I've been keeping one eye on it. And interestingly, Mr. Love Spuds is second off last at the moment.
What has happened to Clyde? It's not where I expected him to be fair.
Well, he's either burnt up his stuff. Ooh! Oh, Duncan, keep it on the track, mate. Oh. So we need a bit of a replay of that because that was a lot of car and wall banging. That. I don't know if you'll even be able to find it because it was an incident, right? Okay. So Duncan goes high into turn 3. And Chris moves up the track and into him. Then there's a bit of barging and bumping, and everybody gets through it without caution. So, good car control from everybody. This is Simon Trendle a little bit further back with, I think that's Stefan. Yeah, it is, yeah. And Clyde is... Yeah, he's dropped way off the back of everybody at the minute. There may be an argument for fuel saving, but and Clyde's actually quite good at fuel saving oval races, but we'll see what happens with it. Meanwhile, at the front,
far back though.
Yeah, he's. Well, you say that far back. Well, I suppose he is 10 seconds back from the lead now, so that's quite a distance when one lap is 30 seconds.
And considering he started third, he's way off the pace.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do to have single lap speed round an oval and just absolutely muller your tyres. So I expect that's what's happened. Yeah.
I've just worked out. How did I not even realise? It must be cake time.
He's just stopped.
He's been delivered cake.
It's a good job Carl Hardy's not here as well, isn't it? Oh, it's a good camera, that, Sam. Martin likes the NASCAR overlay. We were talking about that just before we launched the session. It is actually really good. It'd be a lot better if there was like 50 cars, but hopefully this media day will do its stuff and attract more people to it. Ooh, that's a ball!
So close.
I mean, it's the right thing to do because ooh, that's too close. There's sparks in front of my face then. You do get wall draft on certain areas of the track, or so the experts claim. Look at that, Wobbly's right on him now.
So Pete, who's your money on tonight then? Or should we say, whose race do you want to ruin?
I think you'd be hard pressed to bet against Tyler. He's got lots and lots of oval time behind the seat, and he's a capable driver anyway. And he's clearly very, very quick. These two have turned their best laps within 1/100th of a second of one another. And the gap has been about 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second for about the last 6 or 7 laps. So I think Tyler can control it. Whether Wobbly's deciding he's going to sit there and do some fuel saving, I don't know. We'll soon find out. You can see people starting to drift off into the wall, Stacey, and make contact with it every so often.
Noticing that already.
It's a talent to be able to maintain your tyre temps at a range which doesn't mean that they're liquid. I've very rarely managed it. It's only certain vehicles that I can do it in. Trucks, I've done it in a couple of times. But when you get on, I prefer driving trucks around the half-mile circuits.
I mean, with oval racing, you know, because I obviously haven't done it. I don't do the sim race. Oh, who's gone off?
Oh, that's Michael Barry.
Oh no.
You've probably got no caution because he was off the racing line and reset.
Yeah, but in real life it could have been a caution.
Well, yes. And that's part of the uniqueness of doing oval racing.
Yeah, I'm amazed with no caution in that race.
I mean, if you're broken in a NASCAR race and you get down onto the apron, which is a bit below the line that they're following around there, for those people that aren't familiar with oval racing, they won't call a caution as long as you're off the racing line, still moving. It's when your car's stranded that they throw a caution. And they do throw cautions in the real world for things like polystyrene cups and other items of debris that get on the track. So, a bit like the UK rail network when it's the wrong type of snow and leaves on the track.
Right about that bit. I was going to say, I was like, with oval racing, do you not need a lot of concentration? Reason being, because you're going round and round in circles, is your mind, does it wander off, Pete?
Well, you know what I'm like on a road track. My attention span's not the best, and I'll start doing my shopping, or I'll think, ooh, have I done that job at work yet? And have I done that report and things like that? And I'll end up crashing. Ovals with Charlotte, it's a bit different. So you come around turn 3 and 4, and you get the little kink there, and you get this little kink here before you go into turns 1 and 2 again. So there's features on the track that remind you where you are, because they do look different. When you're on a track like Daytona, one of the big super speedways, for me, all the turns look the same. And I know that someone like Tyler will be like, yeah, but when you're going across the start-finish straight, there's a massive grandstand on your right. And when you're on the other straight, there's nothing. And he's absolutely right, if he was to say that. But I find it looks too similar, so I'll start pitting and I'll be in turns 1 and 2, and I'm like, oh no, this is it. So yeah, you do need a lot of concentration when you're on a very tight track like Bristol. which is a bit like a storm in a teacup, to be honest. You're very rarely going in a straight line, and you're only on the gas for a couple of seconds a lap before you're trying to turn very, very sharply around their 4 turns. The concentration on a track like that is immense, because there's cars crawling all over you 100% of the time, and you're getting lapped and you're overtaking people, and people are unlapping themselves. That's a feature of oval racing you don't often get in a road race. If someone's on better rubber than you and their lap's down, they will overtake you because they're... I don't know whether there's lucky dogs and things like that at work here, Sam, is there?
I don't know, it's like that set up the session, so you might have to code that up.
Right, okay, so you can have a feature of the lucky dog. So if we were to throw a caution and we did have a car that was a lap down, or rather the first car the least laps down, would get called the lucky dog, and he would pass the pace car. And other rules also apply, so if the cars line up behind the pace car under a caution, ahead of the leader are laps behind, they will get waved around the pace car, and they can gain laps back in that way, but they can't pit, or rather they can't pit under caution, so they may suffer because they run out of fuel or run out of tyres or end up in another design tyres, but the need to get a lap back in oval racing is immense because it dictates the rest of your race.
Pete, I'll be right back if that's okay.
Certainly, I'll keep on talking nonsense and boring people to death.
Brilliant.
So, for those who are interested in joining this oval series, the series is free. We've got no desire just yet to start charging anybody for joining it, and that's to promote higher numbers and get people hooked onto it. It's easy to get addicted to these races. Sometimes oval racing can be an utter lottery. Super speedway races like Daytona and Indianapolis, anybody could be a winner because anything can happen on those races at all. It is absolute draft racing, and the same is true of somewhere like Bristol. And when you get onto these tracks and tracks like Michigan, they are a little more tame in terms of you don't get the randomness as much, but you do still get it. And who's that? Duncan Cope with a very dramatic entry to pit road. We may have to see that again, Sam. And on the outside of another car here, he's going to cross through the aero of that car, even though he's going to be a bit back from it, and it's going to absolutely draw him across and not let him slow down enough. Locks his wheels. That'll be a dangerous pit lane entry, without a doubt. Do you get a dangerous pit lane entry, Sam, just for hitting the cone?
That's a good question. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on his pit stop. Michael Barry sadly has left the session, so that's the last we'll see of Mick Barry this evening. Hopefully he'll be back in the future. Duncan's stationary for a long time. He's had his fast repair. He's not on the jacks. I expect I think they do the tyres after the penalty, don't they?
That's a good question. It's been a long time since I've raced oval. Yeah. Like about 2 years, something.
It's been about that for me as well, funnily enough. Last time was when I was racing these things, Clyde. So here we go, Mark Draper with his scratched up truck has entered pit road for his scheduled stop. As has the leader, so leader's in.
Green flags, pit stops, that's where funny things can happen.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because then you get people coming out on cold tyres. They do get in tyre warmers, but it's never to the temperature that you need for racing. So they're dancing around while other people are at speed. If the field is spread out, you can enter into the line of fire, if you want to term it that, and end up being the cause of an accident. We've got other cars slowing for pit road now. That's not how you do that. Who's that? Car 186. Who are you? Oh, that's Simon Trendle who's gone round. Oh, he's managed to get it back straight without hitting anything else, though. We'll have to see a replay of that because that looked like multiple cars trying to enter pit road at the same time and getting in each other's way. Or was it? He seems like he's very much on his own. That is Love Spuds himself, and he's caught Simon out. I think there probably was contact by the behaviour of Simon's truck, and he was very, very hot into pit road. I'd scrubbed off a bag full of speed. And there goes Wobbly. Or was it Wobbly that was slow into pit road?
It was Clyde.
It was Clyde, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought so. One's purple and one's pink, and at a distance I thought I might have got that wrong. Simon very slidey.
And Simon will need to get by to the pit lane again. I think he missed his pistol or something because...
right.
There you go, he's back in.
I can't comment on missing pit stalls, can I, Sam?
No.
No.
You're not in a good spot for that.
No. So, we've got two other cars in the pits at the minute. Stefan, who was our provisional leader, and Adam as well, who had taken second place for a short time. So, don't know whether you get points in this series when we start it in anger for leading laps. We'll find out at some point. But Tyler retakes the lead, and he's gained himself a 2-second advantage over Wobbly, who is cutting it down pretty quick, to be fair. He's on he's on newer tyres by possibly 1, maybe 2 laps. And that can make a massive difference. Especially if you're good at maintaining it. And also, Wobbly's going to have the tow of, I think it's Duncan Cope. There's a couple of all-black cars knocking about in this race. It is Duncan Cope, car 3. I thought Clyde had been in, Sam.
Clyde's been into the pits, yes.
So, when you showed his car just then, he had scrapes on the outside of his car on the right-hand side again.
Yeah, but maybe he did not took his fast repair because...
Oh, true. It might not have been worth it. No, that's
you
a
know,
good tactic.
if you only have scrapes on the right, you might, still do laps, and, you never know. You may hit a wall pretty hard, or someone in front of you, and then, you're in the wall as well. So you might, get his fast repair for that time.
Yeah, it's a good shout. And it's a good tactic because you'll keep your fast repair for something more critical than that. He's an experienced oval racer, so he'll know all these tactics. He's currently, he's not the last running truck at the moment, but he's about to get a lap put on him here by Adam. Adam round the outside, taking the line that scrubs your tyres the least. It's not usually the fastest, but he's got good momentum out of the corners. It benefits him in that respect. Wobbly is cutting this lead down. He's halved it already, and he's got the tow of Duncan now, and Tyler doesn't have any car. See? He's got a good slingshot off turn 2 there, has Wobbly. Wobbly was in the booth with me last night. It was a hoot for the V8 ESC race at Bathurst after everybody done the Bathurst 1000 and they were all trying to keep themselves desperately awake. Duncan's giving him room here, and he will pick up the tow because he's less than a second behind Tyler now. The only problem that I can see for Wobbly at the minute is how much of his stuff has he used up trying to get back into the tow of Tyler. But he should be able to sit there once he's on him, shouldn't he, Sam?
Yeah, the thing is with NASCAR tires, you eat them pretty fast.
Yeah.
Maybe Tyler is, doing the game of, I don't use my tires too much, let Wobbly use his tires, which are newer than Tyler's ones. And then when Wobbly is back in, he will probably use everything he had in his tires. And then, Tyler will really create a gap again.
Yeah, and usually you are better off pitting with the guy that you're running with, so you don't lose them. You do tend to split off when you pit on separate laps, especially multiple laps apart. So often the tactic is stick with the guy that you were racing with and don't let them pit on their own. Tyler very low under the apron there. That's a dangerous tactic to be using on any oval as far as... there are some tracks where the intention is to do that, but...
Yeah, it's a use tactics to get your car turn faster. You know, when you start to lose a bit of grip, you do hit the apron with the front left tire, and that makes the car turns a bit more.
Yeah, the danger is though that...
runs.
Yeah, the danger is that it over-rotates very quickly and it snaps on you. I've seen loads of people do it over the years.
Yeah, it's only, you know, people that know what they're doing then does that.
Yeah, hence I keep away from that little tram line as much as possible. This looks like Clyde, Mr. Randy Lovespuds. Closing in on... Is that Stefan?
No, it's just been passed by Stefan.
No, he's been passed by Stefan, right. It was deceiving for a while. Again, if Clyde's on a serious fuel-saving mission, this could still come back to him in a saved time in the pits or an entire pit stop at some point. Don't forget it's 134 laps of Charlotte that we're doing, and we are currently on lap 47, so 90 odd to go. Very early in the day at the moment. Wobbly now fully in the toe of Tyler. He's very high on that turn, but that might be because he's trying to minimise the scrub on his tyres. Make what he's got last as long as he can. Simon Trendle closing in on the back of Clyde. This will be for position. And he's tucked it straight underneath him. Clyde let him go there, I think. He was sure. Probably in an effort to fuel save. Again, Tyler underneath the stripe there, turning his car using the banking. Or the flat to the banking, rather. And Wobbly a bit higher. With a bit more of a sweep to his line. So it's not just ovals that we're going to do in this series once it launches. Our first destination for proper racing will be this track again. It's like a giant practice session. But we'll show you exactly what it's all about. So, our schedule goes to Charlotte, then Pocono, then Daytona. And then we go to a road circuit, Watkins Glen. Then we go back to ovals again for Texas, Phoenix and Michigan before we round out this for initial season to see how successful it is and how many people we can attract. And we'll end up at Sonoma, a very famous NASCAR road circuit, for the last race of the season. And the last race will be in February. So there's maybe 2 races per month, and the first proper round for this series will be on the 24th of October. Just pencil it in your diary now. Don't forget you can register on Backfire Simsport TV.com and get yourself registered for our series. It's I think it'll be quite an exciting series. It's going to be off season for NASCAR. Because they don't race in the winter, they don't race when it rains. Sometimes they don't race when it looks like it's going to rain. So if you're having a NASCAR like need during those winter months, this is the place for you.
Hi Pete, I'm back.
Hey,
Well,
excellent.
I was back ages ago, but the internet decided to fall over and have a wobbly.
Oh, right. Well, that's kind of it, isn't it? Sam, can you jump on board with Tyler just for a minute? So, just to help out the drivers when they get lost on the track, Stacey, the first hoarding that you see on the right-hand side, the darker one, the one there, says Charlotte 3, and the next dark one that you see there is Charlotte 4. That tells you which turn you're on when you're going around the track.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of the tracks changed to this. I don't remember what year it was. So, again, the darker one there is Charlotte 1. And then the next dark one there is Charlotte 2. So it tells you which turn you're on, and therefore, if you do get a bit of a forgetful moment, as I regularly do, anybody that watches our streams can't remember anything for any length of time, it reminds you of which turn you're on the course. Invaluable when you're preparing for a pit stop and you're on vapors, because you can't afford to not hit your marks. Everybody will pick a point on the wall where they will either come off the gas or tip the car into the turn, or both. And they will use the various different advertising slots that are on there in order to do so. Especially when you get into turn 3 here, you see all those billboards up there. There'll be one where the driver will line themselves up with it and tip the car in at a given point. We used to, embarrassingly, back in the day, before iRacing developed as it was now, use shadows on the track in order to do that. I remember me and Clyde getting utterly caught out at one of the tracks in Oval when they brought the time of day transition in, and my braking point got further and further towards the corner, and I ended up in a wall, and then Clyde piled it. So yeah, it was a very funny day for that to happen, but there you go.
Nightmare.
It was hilarious. And Clyde's going, my brake marker keeps moving. I'm like, no, I can't keep. Smash! I was straight in the wall. Oh dear, funny stuff. So in the chat, Sam has posted the BackfireSimsport.com league information for anybody wanting to join. It's going to be a Sunday league, and it's pretty much just for fun, to be fair. It'll probably get more serious if the uptake is healthy enough. And so far, we have only had one retiree. We need to get to roughly lap 70 to get halfway, and we are 11 laps short of that at the moment. I do think that Wobbly is stalking his prey at the moment. What do you think, Stacey?
100% with you there for sure. I think there's a bit of fuel saving tactic going on as well.
I would absolutely agree with that. It'll be interesting to see whether he can go further or stop shorter in any of the pit stops that are upcoming.
But you were saying, sorry.
No, go for it.
I'll say, you were saying Tyler's extremely experienced. This is the kind of tracks that he's used to, and that you expected him to be up front. So in regards to Wobbly, is this his sort of track, or is this something a little bit more newer to him than Tyler?
Well, I do know that Wobbly has had a skinful of beer today as well, so that's probably helping his cause. There's a lot going on around Love Spuds at the minute. As he gets another lap put on him by the leaders. But yeah, if you look at their I ratings, oh, here we go. Oh no, that's wall. That's wall. I can't believe we've gone this far without a caution. What is that about? And even that won't bring out a caution. The cautions are brought out by obstructions in the racing circuit line. So anything between the blue line and the wall. If you look at their I ratings, obviously Wobbly's not done many ovals clearly, and his I rating is down at 1,000, whereas Tyler's done loads and loads of ovals. Great, 2,600. But Wobbly's one of those annoying people, a bit like Chris Shaw, who get in a car and drive it and win. Just want to throttle them.
Well, he definitely appears to be doing a good job for sure. Has Pete disappeared?
No, I'm still here. I'm laughing at what Sam wrote in the chat. You can see there on the mini-map where everybody's at. And as with the real-world NASCAR broadcast, you can see everybody filtering through on the top line there, showing where they are relative to the leader. Everything is relative to the leader in NASCAR. Laps are generated on the speed at which somebody has done it rather than the time when you're in a lot of NASCAR races. And they factor that down to several points of a kilometre per hour in order to establish who's going fastest as opposed to the fastest time. There we go. Is that Duncan Cope going in for his second stop, or is that a different car? Hard to tell. Sorry? Oh, it's Mark Draper. Right, so Mark's in for his second stop. If I can get back to SDK fast enough. I didn't. I couldn't see when his initial pit lap was before it turned to in. Duncan Cope is also in the pits at the moment as well. So staring at. As it gets a bit busy here with... Is that Adam Wright about to unlap himself from
Adam
Wobbly?
has been through the pits, so now he's faster than Tires and Wobbly.
Yeah, so we're about to witness the effects of being on better rubber, because he's going to go past these guys like they're standing still. And they're going to let him, because these guys are no longer in the same race. Simon Trendle underneath Wobbly, and will go on Tyler at some point as well.
This is a good example of what you were trying to explain to earlier. If someone's coming out on fresher tyres, like how it can completely different, change the race.
And when you're in the car, the speed differential is enormous, or it feels like it. Literally, you look in your mirror, they're just a speck in the distance, and then the next two turns, they're on you, and you're like, how on earth have you done that? And then you only realise once you've been in yourself, got nice, shiny, fresh rubber, all nice and grippy, and you're flying around the track 3 seconds faster than you were a minute ago. It's a complete phenomenon. And these two are going round again. So they pitted, Tyler pitted on lap 34 originally, and Wobbly and Nikolai, who some distance back now, 8.5 seconds back, pitted on lap 35. Marco Loert pitted the same lap as Tyler. So we'll have to see where these two come in. We've already had pit stops, obviously. Adam Wright's putting sector best times, session best times, on the leaderboard at the minute, on the timing screen. He's just done the fastest lap of the race, I think. Yes, he has done the fastest lap of the race, Adam Wright. No sign of these two dropping in just yet, but we're now on lap 69. You would expect them in this lap, or at least the next one, depending on how much fuel saving they've actually managed to achieve. Wobbly did a great job of getting back onto the back of Tyler. It'd be interesting to see what he does once a pit. What are your thoughts, Stacey? Shorter pit stop, or keep going and reduce your final pit stop down and hope that Tyler's not going to naff off as soon as he's got his nice shiny rubber on?
I think quick pit stop.
Quick pit stop later on?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you're racing, you're thinking, should I, shouldn't I? Do I really want to let this... and of course, you're wasting the time in the pit road if you pit at the same lap as them at this point now. Because you've got a tank full of fuel, you'll end up coming out ahead of them. And you lose that time benefit. So you'd think that he would sit there for as long as... do as many laps on the fuel that he's got, and then reduce his final pit stop to make the ground back later.
That's what I'm going with.
I suppose it does depend on how much of his fuel he used trying to get back onto the back of the truck. They're going again, so it's lap 71 now. So even Tyler's done it. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I think these two are just going to be like this for the whole race. Regardless of pit stop strategies, I think they're going to be very close.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I do think that once Tyler pits this time, and if Wobbly carries on, they will split up for a very long time. Because the amount of speed... Oh, Wobbly's washing... Oh, he's not washing up the track. Ah, he's followed him in. He doesn't want to let his prey go. And this is a tactic. If I can stay with him for this amount of time, I can stay with him right to the end, and I only need to lead for one lap. And it's a good way to stalk your prey, isn't it, Sam? Because the person leading then is thinking, well, all he's going to do me on the last lap, isn't he?
That's a good tactic.
Yeah.
Sit behind someone, just follow, and you pass him on the last lap, which is... It's really what you try to do on super speedways, but I guess it's doable around these tracks.
Yep, and they're both taking both sides, as you'd expect. And of course, Wobbly is away straight away. Tyler was away very quickly, which surprises me. Whether he was quicker into his pit stall or not, I don't know. And of course, you have to follow the apron in NASCAR races. Look how twitchy Wobbly's truck is there. Because you got to get out only over that line once you pass that blue cone just there. So,
well,
he's
there
gonna
was
come up.
no smokes coming back from Tyler's car, where Wobbly just spun his tires like a madman.
Yeah, he was emulating the drivers in the real world, wasn't he?
Yeah, but it's not the best thing to do.
No, we saw Clyde do that on his first stop as well. Other cars will be dropping into the pits now. Although most have already been in, to be fair. Those two have managed to keep it going for a long time, as has Nikolai. Nikolai has kept his car out for the same length of time as Wobbly and Tyler, and remains in third place. So the only car not to have pitted so far for the second time is Stefan. Keeping his car on track for longer than anybody else. If he wanted to pit there, he wouldn't have been able to anyway, because people were crowding him out. He actually changed down a gear there, I think. He's off the gas a lot, isn't he, Sam?
Yeah, I think he was trying to come to pit road.
Yeah, I think he was. I think this is going to be a last-ditch effort to get down onto the apron. Do you, Stacey?
No, it doesn't look like it.
No, he's going again, is he?
Oh,
no, here we go.
There you
It's
go.
in.
I bet his tires are completely dead by now.
I would expect so, yeah. He had to throw an anchor out of the back window to get it stopped. His pit stall's going to be one of the ones at the end, I think, because he wasn't that high up the grid, which is better, I always find. I hate pitting in NASCAR series with 300 other cars and you're trying to find your own pit box and they all look exactly the same.
Pete, how easy is it to actually miss your pit stop?
That easy. If you've got cars crawling all over you and you're trying to avoid hitting them, obviously you get to a pit road, and I don't understand the mechanics behind it in iRacing necessarily. You can drive through other cars, which we found out was completely different to R Factor, which is another simulator, when Clyde smashed into the back of someone horrifically in one race because he'd forgotten which sim he was driving in, and destroyed the other guy's car on his own.
No way.
It was hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, at a certain point you can drive through, you can ghost through other cars when you're in pit road and get into your box, but it doesn't help your visibility. What do you do as a tactic for that, Sam, when you're doing oval racing? In pit road?
When I did NASCAR thing, I was in the mood of trying to simulate as much real life as I could. And I even joined a French league back in the days, which was the worst league I've ever joined. But the rule for pitting was like the real rules. You cannot cross more than 2 pit stalls, which is the rules in NASCAR.
Yeah.
So we had to stay on the fast lane on the top, on the far right, which Tyler did. If you saw the pit from Tyler.
Yep.
And only cross the 2 pit stalls before yours. Of course, you can pass through cars in iRacing, and I do think this is something they need to change because it's crap and it's not how racing works. But as we have it, you gain a lot of time by doing it, so when I need to be competitive, I do past crew
Yeah.
cars. You know, that's it. Just you don't have a choice.
No, you're right. And if you didn't pass through cars, I'm not sure I could affect an actual pit stop at all, because if there's a car in the pit box in front of you and one in behind you, you've not got much room to get your car in that box.
That's going to have to take some skill for sure.
Well, for me, they're going to have to airdrop me into my own pit box, because there's no way I'm going to park in it. I'll have to wait until everybody else is done, do a 3-point turn and parallel park into my own pit box.
I do think Stefan got a penalty.
Well, he's stationary for a very, very long time. He's been in there a minute.
Yeah, and he's just been through the pit. He was the last one pitting, and now he's in again.
Well, that's not going to be on incidents for a start, because there's not been enough incidents to actually have anybody generate enough to get a penalty. So what actually happened here? Was it a speeding one, leaving pit road? But why would he be stationary for an entire minute?
We try to find out, but you don't have, of course, the speed limiters on these cars.
No, yeah.
Not like you have on the road cars. Well, most of them. So that's a good question.
Yeah, was he repairing damage? Because when he entered pit road, he had a massive scrape down the right-hand side of it. And he was doing really well. He was the fuel saver of the month. Last one in. And now, technically,
that's
he's last one out.
So I don't know. I really don't know.
No, that's weird, that. I take it this is his outlap and then he came back in again, yeah?
I don't know. I went back to live. So.
Yeah, okay. So that's what the Toyota Tundra looks like. They are very similar to the naked eye. Most changes are at the front with grills and things. Obviously they're plastic or whatever it is, carbon fibre, in order to reduce the weight down. So it's not like you've actually got a bonnet. Shell lifts off as a one. You do have a vent though, don't you, Sam? Right at the bottom to let the air flow through the engine to cool it, because these engines get up to a stupid temperature when they're at full running. If we switch to Wobbly's vehicle, this is what the Chevy looks like. This is the Silverado. Again, very similar. All the difference really is at the front with the grille. I always find the windscreens on these cars really steep. It's a bit like driving a 1980s Saab, where you're basically driving around with someone's greenhouse on the top of your car. It's very strange.
Sorry, I think that's hilarious, describing it as a greenhouse.
Look at the size of the windows. If you were looking for something aerodynamic, failed, right? It's like a barn door of a windscreen. It's ridiculous. And then if we find Adam, we should see the final car in the mix, which is Ford. So this is a bit different at the back and at the front. This is the F-150. If I could do an example of a fighter jet noise, I would do, because it does sound like a fighter jet's name.
Go on, give us your best impression.
I do live under the under a what do you call it? I can't remember now.
Flight path?
That's the one. Cheers, thank you for finishing my sentence. Told you I couldn't remember anything. No, I'm not going to do an example of a plane. That's just silly. Why are we dropped onto the skirt? Why is he dropped onto the skirt on the back stretch? That's an extreme bit of pit lane preparation, and that's not normal. Is that a bent up rear spoiler and a lot of damage on the right hand side? Is that? Oh, he's parking it.
Oh.
Oh, well, that's a quit out. Whoever Twistis is on the chat couldn't make it tonight and regretting it. Yeah. And then we got another car dropping onto the backstretch skirt as well, and also resetting his car. Anybody know what's going on? Because I have not got a clue.
I think Sam's having a look.
Adam and Duncan have both just quit the session.
They must have come together at some point. Sam, is there anything there that you can show us?
No, nothing. I've got nothing. So I just show what I have.
Yeah.
There's nothing much I can do.
No, I think that it must be just that they're both on a promise. Inexplicable. Hopefully one of them will tell us what happened there. Or both of them can tell us what happened to each of them there. As we carry on, so Tyler is still leading. Wobbly is 1.7 seconds back at the moment. He needs to cut that gap right down very quickly. He doesn't have a Duncan Cope to pull him onto the back of Tyler's car this time round. So he's going to have to do it all himself. His pit lane exit compared to Tyler's was pretty poor because he entered pit lane like just on him basically and then left it 2 and a bit seconds behind. So some work to do there on pit lane strategy. And Simon Trendle now is coming under pressure from Chris Shaw. This will be for position once Chris gets on terms with him. That looks like Stefan's car in front there. Bit of damage on the right hand side of Chris's car. He's obviously had an affectionate rendezvous with the wall. Love Spuds, for those who wants to know where he is. He's just in front of these guys. 1 lap down, I think. Or is he? Yeah, he's 1 lap down.
Pete, I've completely lost the stream.
Yeah. Are you still there, Sam?
I am, but I do have internet struggles right now, so I'm trying to focus the bandwidth to the stream, actual stream, and not the stream.
You might have to do a YouTubey thing for a minute there, Stacey. Or I can stream mine, but mine won't be a clean signal because I don't have Nitro on my Discord.
See, it makes no difference with our internet connection here. It's that bad.
It may be even worse than that. So just 1 sec. So Lord only knows what you'll see in that one, but that is effectively the stream that Sam's running, but I'm just showing you my iRacing. It will change exactly as the broadcast, so don't worry about it. So, as we continue round, if I can find SDK again, that is. We still have Tyler Newitt leading. He's leading by a lot less now. Wobbly will be getting some tow there. And it should reel him in on the straights. Once he keeps it smooth, doesn't use up his stuff too much, he's gonna have to catch him quickly. Once Tyler gets in behind that group of cars, he's gonna pull away. Wobbly in the game chat is asking people to throw a caution. Yeah, the stream is in and out, Mike. That's Mike Frost on the chat. Sam's having some internet issues with his ISP in France. And Wobbly goes around again. He's dropping off now. So he's obviously used up his tyres. He may well have been broken here. And Tyler's got the toe on those cars in front of him. Continues to pull away now. Unless Wobbly can find some sort of answer here, because it looks like Tyler's going to pull 3/10 on him in one lap. Simon Trendle has entered pit lane, which does help Wobbly out a little. It cuts out one of the toes that is available to Tyler.
So yeah, I just look up on the web and there's an incident in my city, so there's nothing I can do about it. Well, there's nothing I can do about it anyway, but yeah, this is pissing me off with the power issue yesterday during the Backfire 1000.
Yes, you had a total power outage, didn't you?
Yeah.
In the middle of your Bathurst 1000ers.
Well, in the middle on lap 2, so... this is... Yeah.
Well, right at the start of it?
Yeah, I just started lap 1 and then start of lap 2, blackout.
Unbelievable. So we'll have to see if France can sort out its internet service whilst we continue to try and bring to you this media day. Just a reminder, this is a media day. This is the Wobbly is a Melt 200. I don't know what name we've given to the second one. He is a Melt, by the way, just to be clear. Right, so... he's not put the names on there. I think Clyde did put the names of the races up on Discord, but he's not included it on the website at the moment. This is here to get as many people interested in the series as possible.
Okay, so the next one is the BSTV 200s.
Right, okay.
The next one a bit more serious. This one is just, a fun.
Yeah.
And the next one are just fun, but they're still league races. That's
understood.
And then we've got the result closing 200s at Pocono Raceway, the 2009 layout, which is free. So, you don't need to pay for any oval race. We do this. There's only the road races that are on paid track, because we expect, as we do have a lot of road people, they probably have the track anyway, so that's not really a big deal.
Yeah, Wobbly was quite hot into pit road just then, but he's managed to claw the gap back that Tyler had made on him in traffic when they were trying to pit. It was quite interesting. I don't know whether we can go back to that last lap.
You missed! Yes!
Oh, he's overshot it twice. Can we have that slow mode? Because that's very much worth it.
Oh man, of course.
That's going to be a race-defining incident, that. And this is part of braking on concrete, not tarmac. If he'd shed the speed on the tarmac, he'd have done it better. The two surfaces are different in iRacing. Back he goes, and then he thinks he's done it here, look, and he hasn't. He's got to go back again. And that's caused him, 2, 3, maybe more seconds of delay. Let's see what the actual gap is. Is that right?
It's 7 seconds.
7 seconds. Oh my word. That is possibly insurmountable. He's got no friends, so he's not got anybody to tow him down the track. So looks like unless Tyler makes a mistake at his next stop, there will be another stop. Will there? No, there won't, will there? They can do the rest of the race now on the fuel that's in the tank.
The race is almost done by now.
Yeah.
Without any caution. What were the odds to have no caution at all in a way?
Well, I don't know, but I wish I'd invested my mortgage on it at the start of this. I mean, it's been quite an exciting race for only having, 13 cars or 12 cars or so. Yeah, 12 cars. I mean, they only split up on lap 105. So, very interesting series this could be. if we get the participation up.
It just goes to show how good the drivers actually are, because they haven't had any major incidences. So
No,
impressive.
I mean, it's unbelievable that we've gone 108 laps with no caution. I know it's not the busiest of tracks, but it was at the start, and any one of those wall bangs or door bangs could have resulted in something more serious. But these guys are proving that they're capable in oval cars as well as road cars. These are, 1.5 tons of truck. Oh, that's very high on the wall there, but he's managed to bring that back down to earth again for Chris Shaw. That's the leader. Storms his way through. He's got a monster lead now, 9.5 seconds nearly. The thing that might annoy Wobbly the most about that was he'd made up the time. He'd made up the time that he'd lost on the previous stop and was right on Tyler entering pit road. I think if he'd not been on the concrete and he'd been on the tarmac, he'd have probably got that stopped. What are your thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, probably, but it wouldn't be a race if Blue was not making mistakes.
Yeah, true. And Stacey, is he going to be absolutely gutted by it, I think?
100%, but he'll laugh it off.
Yeah, I would expect so. And what are your thoughts on these trucks then, Stacey?
They were absolutely brilliant. Do you know what I was thinking? Oh, it's going to be really boring. It's not really going to be my thing. But no, it's really, really cool.
And look, Tyler painted his truck yellow just for you. These things are quite enjoyable to drive because they are such tanks going around the track. You do feel they're a bit more you're in a bit more control of these things, or I do anyway, than the Xfinity cars. Granted, I was driving the older ones with the older tyre models, but and I've not driven the NASCAR for I don't remember how long, like the Monster ones, Monster Energy. I suppose I'm more familiar with these trucks than I am with the others now as well. So, yes, they are very exciting to drive, and you've got a little tiny. Well, it feels like a little tiny window, barn door of a window. It's like a greenhouse, and you're looking around, and there's cars all around you in the busy. Hopefully, we can get that participation up here so that we get that same sort of feel and scenario in this league, and we can make something of it. Very low on the apron again, Stacey.
Brad, I'm gutted that Sam's viewing's gone because your one's. Oh, someone just went off in the background there.
I think they went to pit road. I think it was Clyde.
It looked like they went in and come back out again. Maybe not.
Yeah. What were you going to say about my stream?
If you look in the consultants chat, you'll see how teeny-weeny it is.
It will be because I've got full span on it. Yeah.
I'm struggling to see anything on there.
Right, let me see what I can do with that. There you go, you get everything I'm looking at now, Stacey.
Yeah, 2 different views, look at that.
You got SDK on the left hand side now as well, so if you squint enough you'll be able to see the timing. So, Nikolai doing a great job. He's been in third for an enormous amount of time, and he's only 2.5 seconds behind Wobbly. If you thought the excitement was over, you were wrong, because this is going to hot up pretty quick. He's catching him pretty quick, actually, 0.2 a lap at the moment. And he pitted after Wobbly by 3 laps. So I think Mr. Kneecaps is going to become a victim soon. You can see him. He can taste second place. He can get 1 step higher up the podium. That's pretty controlled from Nikolai as well, going around turn 2 there. In the tow, and he will be getting tow now. He's only 1.5 seconds back. He can see the melt in front of him. Oh, we've got a caution.
Way! You've been waiting for one of them.
And there is the pace truck coming out of pit road. He's going to pick up. That's going to pick up Tyler. Do we know what the caution was for? It was for Mark. Oh dear, what happened there? That looks like a hardware or an internet issue or something. Can we have that again? Because that was just speared right up the track. Any ideas, Sam? Why would that happen?
That's just the wheel that is just going crazy and going straight to the right. There's no other reason.
Yeah.
And that will be a shame for Tyler because he had the race win.
Oh, without a doubt. So we're going to be going again with, like, how many laps is that? 22 laps to go. But we'll do 2 laps of this, probably, maybe 3, under caution here.
And now the call is: do you go to pit road or not?
Well, given what I know of trucks, everybody will be pitting.
I would be,
unless you
because
pitted.
there's not a lot of people, so you won't be too far back.
Yeah.
And new tires will be just super important. And in fact, I do think Simon Trundle is lap down, Chris Shaw is a lap down, Clyde is a lap down, and Stephen is a lap down. So Tyler will still be first in the queue.
Yeah,
Even
he will.
If you see those people not pitting, they will get away from, which, there we go, they get it.
Well, that'll be Lucky Dog. The others won't get the wave around until
That is true. That's probably
the end of this lap.
Lucky Dog.
Yeah. So, explaining this to you, Stacey, is going to be a challenge. So, Lucky Dog is the first car, the closest laps down. So, if everybody else is 3 laps down and Simon was just 1, he would get the Lucky Dog. And he would get waved around the pace car and back onto either lead lap or 1 less lap down than he was before. He'll then join the queue again. And anybody that is in advance of this man here, Tyler Newitt, with 1 lap to go before they restart, will also get waved around the pace car and advance 1 lap. And that's so that they can get back onto lead laps. Now, Clyde, I think, is 3 laps down. Yes, he is. Who else is in there? We've got Stefan, who is 5 laps down. So they'll go to 2 laps and 4 laps respectively. But it's of benefit to them to do so, and they're actually dropping into the pits.
Yeah, it looks like they're dropping to the pits, and that means they will not get the wave around.
Correct. Yeah.
By the way, that whole thing you just went through there, yeah, I think I get that. That's quite cool.
Cool. I've actually explained something about NASCAR accurately for once, but Tyler will tell me if I've got anything wrong later.
Yeah, I actually got that, believe it or not.
So we will restart 2 by 2, so it's a double file restart. Anybody that's been lapped will join or get shuffled backwards
And
behind the lead cars.
We missed that, Pete, sorry to interrupt, but Nikolai passed Wobbly in the pit.
Oh my god, he did. Right,
Which
so
might be intentional from Wobbly to be behind Tyler on the restart and be on the inside, which will probably be the best place to be.
yeah, and I don't think we're at the end of our cautions here. So, in the real world now, you get to choose your lane, don't you? Or is that only... That's only at the very start, isn't it?
No. I think the thing is now is NASCAR, the leader, the front row, the leader can pick his side,
Right.
and everybody else behind have to be,
In
third on
line
the
with...
left, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
normal thing. But it's the leader can choose. I'm not
So I
sure
was-
if it's the case in trucks.
Right. What's Wobbly doing?
Mind games.
Yep.
Which is useless because there's just spacing behind the truck.
Yeah, and don't you need to have a mind in order to play mind games?
It is true as well.
Yeah.
Lights are rough on a pace truck.
Yep, so this is one to go, so they will restart the next time round. They'll get lined up 2 by 2. And cars are leaving pit road as we speak. They'll have to form up behind these guys. Anybody not adhering to the blue cone rule will get punished for it. That car leaving pit road has to stay there until that blue cone and blue line, and then they can reform. So, we're waiting for a couple to join the queue. Mark Draper has been in the pits for 5 minutes, so he obviously had used his spare already, potentially. And is getting that massive amount of damage from that hardware failure sorted out. Wobbly is hanging back here for some reason. Not really that sure why. He should be tucked underneath Tyler's rear bumper at the minute. As we get ready to restart here. Pace car will snap off to the left, and then Tyler will pace them out and launch, and he's gone. Wobbly's gone with him, and Nikolai's been caught out there. See? Although he's got the higher line, which is better generally on the new tyres. Although not in this case. So this is going to be quite a busy restart. Nikolai diving down to the inside. And Wobbly is going to set off after Tyler. Tyler's going to have to absolutely gun it now. 10 laps to go. No, 9 laps to go. Sorry, we're on 134 is our lap limit. 10 to go, sorry. Oh yeah, we're on lap 125, yeah. I think this is going to hot up pretty quick, Stacey.
I can't really see anything because the screen's tiny.
Oh, sorry about that.
I just want to know if Wobbly is anywhere near Tyler.
He is. He's, well, 0.4 of a second behind him at the moment. And very slightly closing. He's the tiny pink blob in your screen, behind the tiny yellow and blue one. Nikolai's putting him under a massive amount of pressure now. Wobbly's trying to break the toe to Nikolai, which he seems to have done reasonably well just there. Gets himself a bit of a slingshot into 3 and 4. And has closed it down. Well, he hasn't closed it down, actually. It's exactly the same as it. He really needs to stay staring at the back of Tyler's truck. Instead of popping out to break the toe, he should be using the toe in front of him, really. Tyler's now breaking the toe quite dramatically. And this is what they do in real life. Six laps to go. Right, now he's on him. He's only 0.1 of a second behind now. And he's in a very good position. He kind of just needs to stay there, though. He only needs to lead for the last lap. He's popping out to try and probably cool the engine. These trucks can overheat, even in the sim. I mean, they have just been doing caution laps, so they won't be that hot now. He was a bit ungainly coming out of turn 4 there, was Wobbly. Better out of turns 1 and 2 than Tyler. Yeah, Wobbly needs to sort out his turn 4, and he looks like he's getting it. We have got 4 laps to go now. No, 3 laps to go now. Don't forget, folks, he only needs to lead for 1 lap, and Tyler only needs to continue to lead for the 134th or whatever it is that he's led. They're down on the apron, he's trying to break the toe that much. Oh no! Oh, thought they were going to come together then.
I can see a yellow coming.
2 laps to go. And Wobbly's dropped off in now.
I think that was probably his last attempt to try and give it a go.
Yeah,
Better of it.
when you change direction that dramatically in these cars, it's hard to keep control, and Wobbly got a bit wobbly, is the best way I can describe it. We're going to go for 1 to go in a minute. Oh, he's sideways going down the straight. Did you see that? He was drifting. But he's managed to keep it together. He's actually dropped Nikolai a little bit in that section of the track. Tyler got very close to the wall there. So, can Wobbly do anything in this last lap? I don't think so now. He's a bit too far behind, 4/10 behind. He's going to get mugged by Nikolai if he's not careful. Nikolai's played a blinder here. And this should be checkered flag. Tyler Newitt is your winner. Second is Wobbly. And Nikolai Bogatyrov finishes 3rd.
Hey!
Wobbly wipes out the leader. Everybody wipes out the leader.
See, this is the kind of racing that I want. Can we do stock car? Oh, we've got to do stock car. I'll be in there with that. That'd be amazing.
We did do a demolition derby once for a Christmas race of champions. It was hilarious.
You know what? You know who would win? Me and you, Pete.
I didn't win that one.
At it.
I spent most of that time trying to destroy. Oh, what was his name now? Jamie from Australia. But yeah, what a race! That was great to the end. Hopefully, we can get more people for the next ones, or people signed up to the series. Anyway, it's free, so it's money, and it just costs you a Sunday evening, which isn't that much of a sacrifice, to be honest. But brilliant race. I'm gonna wait for. I can't wait for the stream. I'm gonna have to stop my stream and watch Sam's in order to find the finishing order.
Just so you know, Pete hit the wrong button and just left the Discord thing, which is just super funny.
What's he like?
Yeah, I may have pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly saying that, you know.
So, do you want to go through the finishing order, Stacey?
I can't because it's really blurry.
Sorry. Oh, okay, then I'll do it. So, Tyler Newitt was your race winner for this media day. Wobbly as a Melt 200 for BSTV Truck Series. for BSTV Esports Green, and he was driving a yellow and blue truck. So, Wobbly finishes second for BSTV Esports Pink. Nikolai Bogotyrev, brilliant drive, finishes third, and they were all under a second apart from one another. Brilliant finish, nail-biting. Hopefully they can replicate that at the end of October. Marco Luert, or the beginning of October, I can't remember what I said now. Anyway, Marco Luert finished fourth for VTS Esports. That's a great result as well. Also on lead lap. And then 1 lap down was Simon Trendle in fifth for Team Chimera. Then 2 laps down, Chris Shaw for BSTV Esports Pink. Love Spuds finished in seventh for BSTV Esports Kingpin. 3 laps down. 8th was Stefan Goebel for VTS Esports, 7 laps down. Mark Draper nailed his car into the wall with a hardware failure, 18 laps down, but he was doing all right until that point. Adam Wright mysteriously pulled the car up for BSTV Esports Green with 48 laps to go. Duncan Cope did the same 1 lap later. Sorry, 1 lap earlier. And quit out the session. And Mick Barry, we saw him have an incident fairly near the start, box the car and leave the session. But I thought that was really good. I found that really exciting. I thought it was going to be a bit of a boredom race because of the amount of people, but it wasn't. It was great. Tyler's just invited himself into the broadcasting live room there, but he's left it again. So we're going to have to do some interviews, I think. I don't know where Clyde's just disappeared completely, so he's not going to get interviewed. Right, so we'll start with... I'll do this one, and we'll start with our race winner, Tyler Newitt. How you doing?
Hey.
So that was a bit touch and go, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little concerning when Mark sent it into the wall directly in front of me.
Yeah.
That was the only real issue. I was pretty confident I could be Wobbly, but
Fighting talk.
Mark was in our chat today, and we were talking about how we needed a caution, but Clyde was not interested in bringing one out, so Mark took one for the team and sent it, but he didn't realize how close behind I was, so it got a little hairy there, but it was it was fun.
No, it was good, and with about 20 laps to go, you must have thought, hey, this is in the bag. I've spat him out the back now. He screwed up his pit stop by overshooting his box. All done, and then as with real life NASCAR scenarios, caution comes out, everything starts again.
Given the general vibe in the chat, I was pretty sure somebody was going to bring out a caution towards the end there. So I can't say I was confident of it all going smoothly till the end. But it was, I think today was just a matter of having some background knowledge of oval tactics playing to my advantage. That and Wobbly qualifying ahead of me, so his pit box was in front of me. And every time we pit on the same lap, I unsighted him, and he overshot his pit box. Yeah, that was those two factors, I think, combined into a successful run. He was using some shop setup, and I was just using the iRacing open set. So, he had a little bit better pace on the long run. It seemed to be a bit better on the tires, but he kept making mistakes in the pits that kind of gave me the win.
Yeah, and it's not like you were struggling to find competition, was it? Wobbly tailed you for most of the race, really. And Nikolai ended up finishing within a second of both of you. So, or a second of you, rather. You were all 1 second apart-ish, right at the end. So, it stands to reason to think that if we got more cars in here, it would be a much more dramatic and entertaining show, yeah?
For sure, and I think you'll see the next few races a lot closer than that. I think the vast majority of the field had either not driven these trucks or had not driven them in a long time.
Yeah.
The qualifying pace for everybody was pretty much right there. Wobbly and I were a little bit ahead, I think, but he had a specific qualifying setup. that we were using. So I think in terms of general pace, I don't know that the field was actually that far apart. I think it was just a lot of people making mistakes because they had not driven these cars. So I mean, certainly at like Daytona